Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special new break that we're going to be doing now. We're going to have this on every day up until the election. Now, some stations probably won't carry this. Some stations will, but we're going to do this new break every day between now and the election time. And it's brought to you by PoliticalStorm.com. And we're going to talk about something political. Now, usually, what do I do when you start talking politics?
You cut me off.
Mm-hmm. Guess what I'm going to do now when you start talking about politics?
You let me talk.
I'm going to let you talk. So, first of all, last night we were watching we were watching something else, and then I put it on Fox News and was watching the DNC for a brief moment while Bill Clinton was talking, and Heidi would not let me watch the show. She's like, "Are you seriously going to watch this? Change the channel." I'm like, "Well, I want to see what he's got to say." And he talked about this heartfelt moment when he and Hillary met.
Right.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. Heidi's over there rolling her eyes. She's like, "Are you serious?" It was a great story. I don't know if
it was a great
true.
story. They're good at making up stories.
I just thought it was a great story. I was like, "Oh,
there's just no. I'm sorry. There's no way.
Met.
If he was really that stricken and in love with this woman, he wouldn't be running around the way he does constantly. Yeah. So
well,
whatever.
It was a touching story.
Yeah.
They needed some sort of distraction, if you will, from everything else that's going on
from
right now.
From the implosion of the DNC.
Some bad stuff going on for those guys.
Fantastic.
Well, for you, but for people
I absolutely am loving it.
Well, there are polls out right now that show the two candidates, because now it's no longer the presumptive nominee Trump and the presumptive nominee Clinton. It is the nominee Trump and the nominee Clinton, because the last night, that was the other thing. Guess which state was the state that cast the number of votes that she needed to clinch the nomination?
South Dakota.
Yeah, our state. So two things that happened in the last 2 weeks for the great state of South Dakota. First of all, when Trump was when they were counting up the votes and when they cast the South Dakota vote, Isaac Latterell, a guy that we know, was the one that did the face palm, so he made national news. The delegate from South Dakota, saddened about the Trump nomination, whatever it was. I invited him to be on the program and he declined. He said, you know what? I'm not going to, even though I know you and of all the shows out there that I would, I would consider doing yours, but I just don't want to draw any more attention to this. So, okay. Isaac, I understand that. I think he kind of feels bad for doing it, really.
Well, yeah, he should.
And so, anyway, last week, they kept going to that clip on, any channel that was trying to make it look like, oh, these people don't like Trump. They kept going to that clip of Isaac, and he's like, man, I don't want to draw any more attention to it. I've been on the news a lot. So, anyway, this week, South Dakota was in the news again because we were the state, and it wasn't chosen.
Well, it's not like it wouldn't have happened anyway, no matter what just happened. Ours happened to be the next one in line.
Chronologically, it got to, she needed 2 more delegates, and it got to our state, and we were the state that cast the 2 delegates for Hillary to clinch the nomination. Thing that was interesting is, like the state of Michigan, for example. Mm-hmm. During the election where we the people had a chance to get out and vote, we the people went out, and we the people in that state voted for Bernie. He was the winner of Michigan. They cast 40 delegates for Bernie and 60 delegates for Hillary. Wait a minute. I thought Bernie won that state.
He did. But
it's because of the superdelegates. And the very beginning of the Democratic National Convention, there was a young lady that spoke. You can see on YouTube the clip. It's a fabulous, fabulous speech. She was talking about how important it is that we get rid of the superdelegate system, and they're fighting to get rid of 2/3 of the superdelegates. Now, here's me. I'm kind of a different kind of guy. I would say, how about 3/3? Let's get rid of the superdelegates. Right. So I believe that's what they went in with, and they were told, no, we're not getting rid of it, but maybe we'll get rid of 2/3 of them. Some of the superdelegates didn't even show up. One that was most notably missing was Al Gore. He's a superdelegate from the state of Tennessee. He skipped this completely. He chose not to be a part of this at all. Now, he was Bill Clinton's vice president for 8 years. Mm-hmm. So why is it that the guy who was vice president for Bill Clinton for 8 years decided, I'm not going to be there when his wife is being, nominated? I just think that seems really weird.
Because he knows Bill Clinton's wife.
Well, I'm just saying, I think that seems really weird. So, again, during our regular program, we're not going to talk about politics. But for those of you who want to hear the political conversation of the day, on our podcast, the John and Heidi Show podcast. It's always going to be at the very end of the program. And if you don't want to listen to the rest of our program, if you're saying, hey, I want to just dive right into the politics, you can also listen at politicalstorm.com. And the cool thing about politicalstorm.com, this is a place for people who are interested in politics.
Right.
If you're interested in politics, if you've ever had somebody come on your Facebook page and say, okay, enough about politics, that's not what Facebook is for. Say, okay, fine, I'm not going to share it here. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to talk to like-minded people. Now, it's not all conservatives.
But
it's
my
not all
response
liberals.
to that would be, this is my Facebook
Yes,
page, and I will
exactly.
talk about whatever I want to talk about on my page.
There
If
you
you
go.
don't like it, unfollow me or unfriend me, whatever makes you happy.
And there
But-
are a lot of people that have, by the way, just so you
Right.
know.
Oh, I know.
Even your own family is no longer friends with you on
No,
Facebook.
I have unfriended some of them.
What was the reason for the unfriending? What happened?
It was politics.
There you go.
But
Each time, every time. So again, this is our inaugural program that we're doing, and starting August 1st, we're offering this to radio stations as well. So this one's not on the radio. This is our podcast only. But we're offering this to radio stations. Now, if you would like to carry this on your radio station, even if you don't carry the John and Heidi Show, reach out to us. We'll gladly put it on. And again, a big thank you to politicalstorm.com for being the sponsor. And you can always hear it right at politicalstorm.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. And thanks for listening to politicalstorm.com.